Do you know that the United States used to spend $60 billion to $70 billion on USAID every year? This was meant to be given to countries fighting poverty and supporting humanitarian causes. However, that's the excuse to be shown to the world. In reality, there have been reports of USAID programs involved in regime change operations throughout the world. Countries struggling with poverty allow USAID to enter, but end up being controlled and dictated by the agency. In other words, USAID worked as a foreign policy tool for the United States. However, this has ended now as Donald Trump has cut down 90% of USAID operations, creating a vacuum for China to fill. That's something China has always wanted, but countries were too uncertain to leave the US for China. But now, with the USAID gone, it's an open ground for China to conquer. So how can Trump's decision to end foreign aid make China the new superpower? In this video, let's know about the whole story. Until now, USAID ensured American dominance in the world, offering aid in return for countries following American foreign policy. This, however, changed drastically under Donald Trump. Driven by his America First ideology, Trump effectively ended USAID by slashing its budget by 90%, pulling the U.S. out of foreign assistance programs, and closing the door on what had been one of the most significant instruments of American soft power. In doing so, Trump left a massive vacuum, one that China was eager to fill. For years, China had been competing with the U.S. in global development, but countries were often reluctant to completely shift alliances. Now, with the U.S. abandoning the field, China is stepping in as the primary development partner for nations across Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. However, to really understand what America lost and China gained, it's important to understand how USAID worked. For decades, USAID allowed Washington to manipulate governments without resorting to military force. Instead of sending troops, the U.S. used foreign aid to exert political influence, ensuring that countries aligned with American economic and diplomatic interests. This influence was particularly strong in Africa, where aid was often tied to conditions that favored U.S. corporations and restricted engagement with Chinese firms. In Latin America, USAID-backed programs funneled money into opposition groups that Washington supported, while in Eastern Europe, the agency played a role in propping up governments that embraced Western policies. But this